And so I will be posting the recording of this video for those who weren't able to be on live. But tonight, oops, let me mute you guys again. Tonight, we are blessed to have Bridget Hammond talking to us about shifting your mindset from being a hobby coach to a career coach. And even if you're like not 100% sure that, you know, you want to quit your day job and make this your career, you still, there are such valuable aspects of what Bridget's going to share with us that can relate to anybody who is trying to build a business from this, just beyond just getting the discount. So I'm super excited to have Bridget with us. Bridget lives in, I want to say Woodbury, am I right? Minnesota, and she has two handsome little boys who are kindergarten and preschool age. And she used to work in corporate America for Target before choosing to stay home with her kiddos, and she was a fitness instructor and fell into this Beachbody coaching gig, and has definitely from day one, I would say, approached it with the mindset of a career. You know, she's a go-getter, and she just qualified 1-star diamond. And let's see, Bridget is, I mean, just amazing. And she has gotten over 15 Success Club points for over a year, which is insane. I know like nobody else who's done that. So she's awesome. And she is someone that we all have something to learn from. And I don't know, I could just go on and on about you, Bridget, but I don't know if did I cover all your I don't want to say awards. I'm tired. Did I give you all the accolades for all the things you've accomplished? Probably not. There's so much you've done. Let's see. You're muted. I unmute you.
Yes, no, that was perfect. Thank you. I think this will be a good talk for no matter where you are in this business. So just think about that. You know, the topic is mindset shift, you know, career from hobby to career. And it could be something that maybe already happened and you kind of had that aha moment, or maybe it's yet to happen. And that's okay too. So it'll just kind of get you thinking and give you kind of a lot of things to keep in mind and some really good action steps. So you'll definitely want to get out your pen. I will have some slides so you can take notes to match my slides here as I chat. So I'm just going to kind of start out with how I got started. You know, we all have our own reason for why we started as a Beachbody coach, right? Some it's just to get a discount on Shakeology, some because they love fitness and they love health and they just want to be a part of like the latest and greatest cutting edge programs and products. You know, some people want to do it because they want to see if they can make more money, and maybe you kind of need a second thing to bring a little more income to your family, and you want to see where it grows. You know, some people join because they want to be a part of a community and they want to feel like they're a part of something bigger, and they like that it's like-minded folks. They're going to help you, you know, lift you up and keep you accountable. And maybe some people just join because they want to stay accountable in their nutrition and their workouts. So as you can see, I named about 6 right there, and maybe one of those or 2 or 3 fit why you joined, or maybe none. But we all have our own reasons, right? So my reason is kind of a couple of different reasons. I had never done a program. I had never tried Shakeology, and I just knew that they were good. I knew all about, you know, P90X, T25. I'm in the fitness industry. I knew people that had done those and that had awesome results. I too was kind of looking for a little bit of something in my own fitness routine, because I was kind of in a plateau, just kind of wanted to shake it up. So I thought, hey, I'm going to learn something new, you know, about nutrition that I'm sure I don't know, and apply it myself and, you know, hopefully get some results. and I'm super passionate about fitness, and I want to help some more people. I work at the Y, and like Jess said, I came from corporate America to be a stay-at-home mom, and I kept my fitness classes. That had always been my passion, and I secretly always wanted to do just the fitness thing, but I couldn't quit corporate America to do that because I would make like $10 a week. So I, continued the corporate job until I had gotten married and we had our first baby, and that was kind of my reason to say, I'm going to step back and I'm going to just kind of see what happens. And so then insert YMCA classes and personal training, but I felt kind of confined. Like people would always come to me and say, hey, can you help me at home? I just kind of want to learn more, exercises to do at home, maybe weights or, health tips in general, maybe things, can you come over and go through my fridge for me? So I would laugh, you can't do that for everyone. I'm certainly not a nutritionist, so I can't do that. So then Beachbody came along and it was all right there. This is a business that's already in place, and I just have to connect people to it and motivate them. So it was kind of like a aha moment, like I'm already doing this, so why wouldn't I just jump in and go, right, and give this a shot. So that's kind of where I started at, and I wanted something that I could build, from nothing, that's my own. I didn't want to have to invest thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, we don't have that, to start my own fitness, my own gym. Like that would be amazing, but I can't do that. So this was already here. It was already in place. I had to invest $140. I had to get my husband on board, and he was not really. We can all laugh about that. And that made me too want to show him, like, this is a real thing, and I'm going to do this. So those are kind of some of the reasons why I started, and I wanted to kind of just jump in and go. Did I have doubts? Absolutely. Did I have doubters? People that didn't think that this was kind of a thing? Absolutely. My husband was one of them. Was I scared? Absolutely. When I signed up, it took me like 3 or 4 days, and I thought, what the hell am I doing? I have no idea what this is or if I can even do this. I don't even think anyone's going to buy anything from me. I mean, honestly, we all have those thoughts, right? But did I want to try? Absolutely. So that's where my mind shift came in. I wanted to try. I didn't want to have an excuse. I wanted to learn as much as I could in the beginning. I wanted to be a sponge, and I just wanted to give it my best shot. So my mind shift changed. I took a few days, and I had those thoughts of, I don't think anyone's going to buy a thing from me. I don't know if this is going to work. And I gave myself a couple of days, and I made a plan. And I had a business plan. I actually wrote down names of people I was going to contact. I wrote down names of coaches that I was going to contact. I wrote down how many people I was going to touch every month, how much I was going to make in the first 3 months, the first 6 months, the first year. And if it wasn't happening, I was going to quit at the year mark. Okay, this was all in my plan. And it was very liberal. I gave myself a lot of room. I said, I'm going to pay for my Shakeology, and I'm going to maybe make, a little bit more than that. And then the next month I'm going to do this. And I got to tell you, you guys, I should look at that right now, but I blew it out of the water. I mean, I was afraid to give myself scary goals because I didn't really know what it was about. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you, to know that that mindset was kind of already there, and that kind of helped me just kind of get up and running. When you have a plan, you're just going to kind of put your nose down and you're going to go, right? So I invited my first few friends with me. I did PIO. I said, I'm doing this too, and it's going to be amazing, and we're going to get results. And we're going to drink Shakeology, and we're going to clean eat, and we're going to do this together. And heck, we're turning 40 in a year. This was, a year ago. And we're going to be fit by 40. We're going to be amazing. We're going to look better than we did in high school. And that's what I told them. Did I know that this was going to work? Absolutely. If these people did it, it would work. The only reason it would not is if they didn't do it, right? So I was already pumping them up because I was going to do it and I had that mentality. So guess what? On they came, and that was my first challenge group. And I took that momentum and I just kept going. Because guess what? Those ladies got results, and so did I. And then I got to share. Okay, so that's how I started. I got those results from them and myself, and then I was able to just share. And then they were sharing. They were telling everybody. And then I felt comfortable to tell every single person that I wanted to know about these programs and these products, that they work and they get your results. And so all you kind of need is a plan, and you got to build up that confidence. You get a small group, maybe it's just one person that says yes, and you help them through every step of the way, and you do it with them, and you want them to succeed. And it's just going to start snowballing from there, and you don't give up. All right, so along with that, my mentality was all in, right? It wasn't all day. I didn't sit at the computer 9 hours a day, although I want to say I spent a decent amount of time, because you don't know what the heck you're doing, right? So you're going to be a sponge, you're going to be in the back office, you're going to try to it takes a little longer to figure things out at the beginning. So I probably did spend a little bit more time. Initially, I didn't have systems down, I didn't have things in place. My coach isn't super active, so I wasn't, bothering her with stuff, because I just wanted to learn it myself. I probably bugged Jess a little bit here and there, but I probably didn't know her right away and probably didn't feel comfortable right away. And so maybe that came after, once I kind of knew her a little bit more. So all I want to say is my mind shift was there early, from career to hobby, right? But it can happen at any time, okay? Mine is very different. It could be, you fell in rank. You went from diamond to emerald, and one day you were just like, you know what? I'm doing this. I'm shifting this mindset. I'm going to go back and I'm going to get this. It could be you get one really amazing paycheck and you see that what this can be, and that's when your mind shift changes, and you're like, all right, I want this again, and I want this again, and I don't want the lower paychecks. Maybe it's at a Super Saturday or Summit. You hear something that just resonates, and you walk out and you say, yes, that is me, and I can do that. I could be that person up there. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's a message from someone in your inbox saying, look what you helped me do. You helped me get off my blood pressure medication. And maybe that's your mind shift right there, that yes, I want to keep doing this because I make a difference. Maybe it's just applying all these things. One day you're just going to wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to finally do all these things that they tell me. I'm going to do this personal development that I think sounds really weird, and who has time to read books, right, when I'm busy doing all these other things. Maybe you just decide you're going to do all of these things that we talk about, because guess what? They work. And maybe you just wake up one day and say, you know what, today's the day, I'm going to start doing them. And then boom, you go from emerald to diamond in 2 months. So these are just some examples, but it can happen anytime, this mind shift. So what I'm going to do now is break it down to 5 things, okay? 5 things that you need to change. It's going to be a shift in attitude. And then I'm going to tell you the actions that are going to follow. Okay, so you're going to number 1 to 5. And then under each one section is going to be attitude. And then one section is going to be actions. So the first one, I'm going to try to share my screen, you guys. Let's see if this works here. All right, can you see that? My computer's a little slow. I'm seeing black. Are you seeing my presentation? I think it's coming up. All right, now can you see it? Thumbs
Yeah,
up.
we can see it, Bridget.
Okay. So this is the mind shift. Step 1, you're going to prioritize your time. Okay? So your attitude is going to be, I'm going to do my no matter what every single day. So about this attitude, we're all busy. We all have a lot going on. We all have the same amount of hours in each day, right? But we just have to sort of shift our attitude about these priorities. So for example, before starting Beachbody, I would wake up in the morning and I would kind of maybe sleep in a little bit. 6:45, maybe that's sleeping in for me, 7 o'clock at the latest. And I would go downstairs and I would make my coffee and I would watch the morning news for about 15, 20 minutes. And my boys would probably be starting to get up and I would, make the lunches if it was a school day. And, we would just kind of get rolling on our day right there. So now what does my morning look like? I set the alarm early. I give myself 1 hour of time before they get up to get my workout in, to listen to personal development, and to start my day with checking in on challengers. And in my group, I post to my pages, always in the morning, my regular Facebook and always my fitness page, usually something inspirational first thing in the morning. And I might, message a couple of people. Maybe I have some conversations going. So maybe I'll, message a couple of people, right? So that's what my morning looks like now. Did I have to make some changes to what my morning looked like before? Absolutely. But look how productive that is for me in the morning. Because I do those things, I want to keep going and be productive because that's setting me up for my day, right? That feels really good. I'm like, dang, my kids aren't even up and I got all this in. This feels amazing, right? I got 1 power hour done before my kids even wake up. And guess what? I go back and I get my second one in the afternoon. And if that one gets interrupted, I shift it to the night where I, do a couple of things. So you just have to kind of shift. Some things are going to change. Maybe you're not going to watch your late night show anymore for a half hour. Maybe you're going to use that for your power hour. Just start to think about the things that you can sort of change. And it's going to make you feel really good to get those things done. And that's going to pump you up, right? And I probably felt kind of lazy in the morning. I don't know, that was a good way to wake up before, just coffee and checking the news and watching the weather. But it takes me a long time then to get my day started. I was getting my workout in at 9:30 to 10:30 at the gym. I was just, it's kind of was wasting a lot of time. And now I feel super efficient and I get a lot of things done. So maybe just think about the things that you can change with your routine. If you're a people pleaser, stop saying yes to everything. This is hard. A lot of you are people pleasers, right? I used to be. Now I'm not as much. I've learned to say no to some things. So, if someone asks you to do something, hey, will you be the head of the PTA? Don't answer right away. Say, hey, can I think about that? Can I get back to you? Take a day or two. Write down, if I say yes, then what other things am I saying no to? Because usually when we say yes, we're saying no to something else, right? So think of the big picture. If that means I'm saying yes to that, does that mean I'm saying no to family dinners, to a date night with my husband, to maybe some Beachbody business, whatever that means? What does that look like for you? Then come back and tell them yes or no. And before you answer, does it fall into your top priority? Is it a top priority for you? Or are you just saying yes because you got asked and you feel like you have to, right? So maybe you just need to narrow down your priorities. How does it fit into your world? How does it fill your cup? Certain things, they don't necessarily fill our cups. So maybe you just want to kind of focus on what are those things that you want to keep in your life as your priority. If you want this to turn into a career, you do have to have it as a priority, okay? So you do have to say yes to Beachbody if you want it to be a career at some point. All right, so we are going to talk about our actions here on the other side of this slide. You have to just identify the top business tasks for you. I'm just giving you ideas here, so maybe you just circle which ones are your top business tasks that you want to focus on. So I have inviting and connecting. Okay, so we're going to do that. You're going to be a friend. You're going to reach out to people. Hey, how are you doing? I saw that you just had a new baby. How is life treating you? Are you getting any sleep? Okay, these are just connections, you guys. It does not have to be Beachbody related. You're just being a friend. You're being genuine. You're going to try to have 3 to 5 connections a day. That is not anything about a challenge group, nothing. Just reaching out to 3 to 5 people. Hey, I saw that you put on Facebook that your sister's in the hospital. I'm so sorry. You know, anything. It's just genuine, and it's not, you're not doing it because you're forced to do it. It's honestly things that you care to do, right? So that's what inviting and connecting is. Being a product of the product, we all know what that is. We're drinking Shakeology. We're doing our workouts, okay? Always try to be doing a program if you can, because guess what? You're going to share it. You're going to share what you're doing. You're going to talk about how amazing it makes you feel, how great it is. You know, what is it doing for you? That's what you're going to share, because people like to hear that. They're curious. They want to know what you're doing to get those, you know, awesome muscles popping out, or, you know, just that it's giving you more energy in your day, and it's helping your digestion, and, you know, it's teaching your kids to exercise too, because they're watching you do it every morning. You know, what are these workouts doing for you? What is your Shakeology doing for you? And that's what you're going to share. Personal development. You know, we all know that in order to help other people, we have to be good. You know, we all have areas that we need to work on. And by doing personal development, it's just helping us be better so that we can be better for other people. It's going to be really hard for us to help people if we're not good ourselves, right? So that's really what personal development is. It's going to make us healthier and happier on the inside, mentally, emotionally, all of that, so that we can be there for others and they're going to come to us, right? We kind of have to be the rock. So basically, if we can't be someone's rock if we're crumbling, and we're going to have things that are going to crumble, right? Because life happens to us. But if we're doing personal development, we're going to be able to put the pieces back of the crumbles and keep going, because we have to be the rock for these challengers and folks that need us, right? We're going to run challenge groups so that we can, like I talked about before, get people success stories, and then it's going to start to snowball. You know, we want to make a difference in people's lives. And so we're going to run challenge groups to help them stick with their program. You know your story, tell it. That's what people come to you for, because they know your story. They know why you wanted to become a coach. They know your health journey. You know, whatever your story is, we all probably have multiple stories. So know it and share it. You know, hitting Success Club, that's helping 3 people a month. 3 people. And that's going to just give you the momentum to keep on going in this business, right? Setting your calendar, you're just going to write down your daily to-dos, right? Just kind of making sure every night, that's what I do. I write down tomorrow, you know, I'm going to check into my challenge group. I'm going to do my call out for my free eating group. I'm going to contact so-and-so and so-and-so. I write down the names of the people, because maybe they said no before, and I'm going to ask them if they're ready this time. So, you know, each night, just jot down those, you know, few things that you got to get done tomorrow. There's probably a couple that can move. You know, if you don't get them done, it's going to be okay if they shift to the next day, and then you just write them the next day. But there's going to be a couple of those that you can't skip, right? So those are at the top. You know, you want to track your business. So you have a good way to keep names challengers, what program they've done. It's really easy in the back office to run a report, you guys, of all of the names of people that have already bought from you. You just run a report, and screen's going black. And it'll tell you their address, their email, what program they did, and then you could pop it into Excel. And that's what I did. And now I just copied it and made a blank one. And that's where my new people come in, people that I haven't actually bought yet, but I'm talking to. So I have one current challengers or past, and then a second one, people that I'm talking to maybe that have said no. And you use that list every month. Okay, who said no? Who could I maybe check in with again and say, hey, how's it going? Just start the conversation again and see where it goes. So have a good tracking system. So actually, out of those, you're going to pick the top ones. What are the most important to you? Maybe all of them are. For me, I would say inviting and connecting is huge. I'm always trying to do that, being a genuine friend, relating to people so that they can feel like they can reach out to me. I'm going to always be a product of the product and share what I'm doing. I'm always going to do personal development. I'm always going to run challenge groups, and I'm always going to post on my social media. I'm going to always hit Success Club. Tracking my business, I do. It's not my strength. It's not going to be my no matter what. I eventually do it. It's not going to be daily, but I get to it. So I kind of know which ones are going to fall into my, absolutely. I didn't talk about this one, and it's not in there, but one-on-one and team calls are also no matter what. So you do want to have that time to connect, to work on your goals, to talk about them out loud. Sometimes it just helps to bounce off ideas, on those one-on-one calls and get some direction, and to learn things like here. That's going to help you. All right, number 2, duplication multiplies. So the attitude for that, if it can be taught, it can be multiplied. So what does that mean? If you want to run fast, you run alone, right? Like in track, you're going to pick track if you want to be fast. If you want to run far, you're going to run together. And that's more like a cross-country team. You're probably going to join cross-country if you like the running together and you like going the distance. And that's the same thing. If it can be taught, it can be duplicated. Do you want your team to come with you? Or do you just want to go and get to the top? Because if you want your team to come with you, you got to teach them what you're doing, right? So with that, it just means, what do they want to know? Do they need some help when they first start on how to start a conversation with someone? Maybe you have a new coach and it's like, gosh, I just don't know what to say. How do I reach out to someone initially? Give them a script, or help them. I have a little welcome email that I send. I did send when I first started. Hey, friends and family, this is what I'm doing. I share that. If people are like, gosh, I want to send out an email, but I don't want to sound salesy. I have mine saved. I'll just say, use this and just change it. Because it talks a lot about, my personal experience in there. So just change it a little bit, but use it. Guys, the back office is filled with scripts. It actually tells you what to say now to reach out to people and invite them. We have challenge group guides back there. We have a ton of resources back there. So help your team, give them scripts, help them. You're just going to help them what you're doing so that they can learn and that you can all be on this together, right? So the actions, we talked in the existing scripts. Challenge group guides are in there. Welcome letter. So when you join my team, I have a, hi, welcome, here's some things to do. Just have them save that. So when they have a new coach coming on, they can use the same letter. They don't have to create their own. Getting started training. We have so many things streamlined now. We have a brand new coach training right in the back office. There's actually one called Get Started, and then one called Now You're Ready to Coach. Go on to this phase. So you can pinpoint everyone to the back office now. It's so easy to get folks on board, right? because when you're all running together, you go far. Step 3, you're going to show up consistently. Now, the attitude of this one is think and act like you're the CEO. Does the CEO take days off where he or she doesn't show up? No. So a little example about this one is, do you guys all know about the 5-minute workout rule? I heard about this, and it kind of applies to what I do. I told you about I wake up in the morning and I get my workout done right away. So now I've become an early morning workout person, and I set my alarm. I have my clothes set out. It's the first thing I see. It's the first thing I do is I put those workout clothes on, I brush my teeth, and I head downstairs and I hit play. Now, do you think I'd rather stay in bed in the warm, cozy covers, especially now that it's dark? Most days I would probably want to stay in bed. But do I get up and go downstairs and start my workout? Absolutely. And why do I do this? It's because I'm dedicated and I'm committed. And then within 5 minutes, I tell myself, if I hate it and it sucks, I want to go back to bed. How many times have I gone back to bed after I've been working out for 5 minutes? Zilch. Okay, so dedication and commitment gets me up, and then passion takes over. All right, and that's the same thing for your business, you guys. It's usually not passion first, because some days we don't feel like doing it. We're going to find other things we want to do. Hey, I got some free time. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to go to lunch. I would rather do this, and this than invite a challenger or check in on my group. We're going to find things we'd rather do. But once we sit down and we get going, it feels really good. We're going to get a message that day. Maybe someone's going to say, hey, I have some really good news. I can wear a size smaller pants, and it was because of you, right? And that feels amazing. And that speaks to that passion, then that passion kicks in. The dedication got you to sit down and start on your power hour, and the passion kicked in. And so you kept going because it feels really good to do something super meaningful and bigger, right? And no, I don't want to do those dishes right now because I feel like I'm doing something more meaningful here. Not that doing dishes for my family isn't, but I'm just talking about myself and my day. I would rather sit down for a few minutes and do my coaching thing and then go back to those dishes because those can wait, right? So of course there's going to be distractions. It's really easy to not show up, you guys, but it's easy to show up too. So we just choose to do them. And in hard times, we could absolutely skip. You know, life's going to get really hard. There's going to be weeks or months where something's going to happen, right? And you could easily just say, nope, I'm not going to run a challenge group. I'm not going to invite. I'm not going to do any personal development. And I'm going to have Jess tell a story about a situation that was hard for her where she could have easily taken a bunch of time off and maybe even quit, but she didn't.
Okay, I'm here. Bridget and I chatted today, and I just wanted to share with you guys some of the things that have come up in my life since I started coaching. Right when I very first started coaching, I was really struggling with some postpartum depression after my second baby was born. And I was teaching part-time, and my classes had gotten canceled because of low enrollment at the college. And they were like, sorry, you don't have a job in 2 weeks from now, right? So we're relying on my husband's income solely. I'm super sad. And I think I could have at that point, I was really new into coaching. I was maybe making $100 a week, maybe. And I could have thrown in the towel. And I remember talking to Amanda about just not sure whether this was right for me. And I wasn't sure whether there was really going to be a future in this for me. And basically what was I doing? And she was like, just keep showing up. just keep showing up consistently. And I promise you, it's just a matter of time before this business works for you. And I trusted her because she'd yet to steer me wrong. And I just kept showing up. And I know that sounds maybe simpler than it is, but it really is just a matter of showing up. And at this point that Amanda and I had this conversation, I just vividly remember us sitting on her dad's couch over Thanksgiving. Maybe it was Christmas. I don't know. It was this time of year. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I want to keep doing this. Things are just really crappy right now in my life, and to just keep showing up. And, and her dad got diagnosed with lung cancer pretty shortly thereafter. That was the last time I actually saw him. And that was an opportunity that she could have just thrown up her hands and been like, I'm out. I've got too much going on. Like, she was traveling back and forth between Texas and Minnesota, and she just kept showing up. I mean, maybe it wasn't her best. She might not have been bringing her A game, but she was still the CEO of her business. And look how successful she is. And I just remember that conversation, and I didn't know that her dad would get really sick very shortly there afterwards, and where things would go for her and for her family. But I just remember her telling me to keep showing up, and so I did. And then things got a lot better, and I got pregnant with my third baby. And again, it would have been a time for me to be like, I don't know, I don't feel good, I'm tired, and then I'm too pregnant, and then I have a new baby, and there's always a million reasons why not to show up. And I kept showing up. I remember posting on my Facebook, in my phone, from the freaking hospital room, like when I'm there with my newborn, like the next couple days, and following up with my challengers. And I didn't take time off. I mean, I did a little bit because I'm here with my baby, but what a blessing that I have this job that I can work on my phone in a hospital room and make really good money not doing that much work. And it's because I kept showing up. So anyways, I'm probably rambling now, but I just want to tell you that life happens, and there's always going to be 101 reasons why you don't want to work. And just have that mindset shift that this is an amazing opportunity that you can do from literally anywhere. Like, you're flying across the country because your dad's dying of cancer, you can show up. You had a new baby, you can show up. What other job allows you to do that? Nothing. I mean, it's amazing. So I think that mindset shift of, I've got too much going on, I'm not gonna do Beachbody this week, but I'll do it next week. And then you're frustrated because it doesn't work for you. We all have shit, so just keep showing up, and you're blessed to have the type of job that rewards you immensely for really, in the long run, a pretty small amount of hours each day and each week. So that's my story. My family and I have been through a lot, and ups and downs, but I've been doing this for 3 years. And if that's my biggest takeaway, is like, I just kept plugging in and doing what I needed to do. It wasn't always my best job, but I don't know, it was a non-negotiable for me because I knew, I had faith that it would work, because Amanda told me it will come together for you. And that's what I know I've told Ellen that a million times, and I just really and truly believe that it's just a matter of time if you are passionate and show up consistently and commit to the right activities. So sorry, I'm rambling a little bit.
No, you're good.
Really passionate about it. And I just know, guys, that there's always a reason why it's easy not to show up. It's just like exercise. There's always a reason why you don't want to show up. There's always a reason why it's easier to go through a drive-through than to cook something at home. But what's going to get you the results you want? Showing up, even if it's not the best. Even if you're not in the best place in your life, you can still show up and do the bare minimum, and nobody else knows that it's the minimum. So that's my advice to you. So let Bridget continue. I'm taking great notes, so thank you.
Sounds good. No, but I think that's an awesome example. We all have struggles, but we rise up and we go forward. We become the person that we're meant to be, right? And when our hearts are heavy, we can make a difference in somebody else's life. So that's probably gonna help us out of our own struggles, is that knowing that we can be meaningful to somebody else. So maybe that's the drive that you use when you have that bump in the road, because we're all going to have those bumps. So maybe if you just think about it that way, like, gosh, I have challengers that need me today. I need to check in on them. I can't not. So just kind of use that as kind of like Jess said, bare minimum. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I think it would help you personally get through your hard time too. If you felt like you had something for you that you knew that had as something meaningful, right? So do those action steps on the right side. You're going to commit to personal growth and development. You're going to get to live events when you can. Super Saturdays, Summit, they are awesome. They're filled with talks just like this, and you're going to walk away and you're going to have a ton of excitement, momentum, great ideas. Team calls when you can. Again, national wake-up call, super important. I always learn something. And, you can catch the podcast. It's not a huge time commitment because you can pick to do it whenever you want. I was watching the video of this presentation of someone doing that summit. She said, if you think that skipping the national wake-up call is, no big deal, it's just saying no to learning more. I don't need to learn more on that topic, she said. So that kind of made me laugh. Each topic is going to help us learn a little bit more. If you were the expert, you'd be asked to talk. You'd be the speaker on that call, right? So hop on to those national wake-up calls. You're always going to learn something, guys. All right. What else was on there? Sorry, new coaches on board. I forgot to mention those, and owning your own role as sponsor and mentor. So that's, again, what we've kind of already talked about, just making sure you're helping those coaches get started. You're going to send them your welcome letter. You're going to do your call with them, see where they want to go with this. What do they need help with? Do they want to run a group with you at first because they're kind of scared? You want to run one together? Do they need help inviting? Do they need help thinking of a like page? You're the CEO, so you're going to help get people on board. It's your business. It's your own company. And the more successful people on your company, the more smoother your company is going to run, right? So help getting those folks on board. Own your role as sponsor or mentor. You are there for them to answer questions. It's never a nuisance. I always say, don't feel bad bugging me. Of course, you can try to find answers in the back office first and then come to me because there's tons of information, but there's going to be just things that aren't available to be asked, to be answered in the back office. And that's what your role is as a coach. Step 4, we are on creating opportunities to connect. So your attitude here is be intentional with your business. Believe you have something of value that you can offer. Okay, so your story is enough, you guys. Everything else can be taught. We can learn how to run challenge groups. We can learn how to invite. We can learn a lot. But your story is your story. We can't learn that. So if you're sharing that, that's valuable to people, right? What does Shakeology do for you? What does your program do for you? Share your story. You're here because most likely somebody shared their story with you, right? And that's why you're a coach. You were inspired. Somebody said, hey, this works. This worked for me. So you joined their challenge group, right? Or maybe if you didn't join a challenge group, maybe they just said, hey, I really think you would be an awesome coach. Because guess what Beachbody did for me? It added income to my family. I'm able to do this from home. These are all things that are super valuable. So whatever your story is for you becoming a coach, that's enough right there to share. Being intentional about your business, this won't work if you don't work. Now think about this. This is probably one of the only careers that I would say is really healthy if you marry the professional and the business. Okay? It's going to be intertwined. It's going to feel like it's your life. It's not going to be really left at the office. Because guess what? You're probably wearing your 21-day fixed shirt to the soccer field. You're probably bringing Shakeology with you to a play date. You are probably talking about something to someone. You're probably running around with your kids and people are going to say, oh my gosh, she has so much energy. I wish I could do that with my kids. She's super active playing with them. This is married into your life, your business and your personal, right? Because coaches, we're kind of different. We eat clean, 80%, right? We do these workouts. It's a part of our life. We don't just do this because it's our business. It's our life, right? So because we do that, people come to us. Hey, what's that shake you're drinking? What is this 21-day fix thing I see on your shirt? I saw an infomercial. Can you tell me a little bit more? You know, how do you get so much energy playing with those kids? What's your secret? How do you stay in shape? You're going to get all these questions because you're just out there doing what you do, because those two things go hand in hand. You don't go to the mall looking for people. Who can I invite to my next challenge group? Okay, that's awkward. That's impossible. We don't do that, right? But when we're out and about in our day, it's going to weave into our life because it comes with us everywhere. So it's right there. You just have to do those things. You just have to share it. You just have to connect with those people that are in your day-to-day, wherever that is. If you got a full-time job, you're just connecting at the office or at the clinic. If you're a nurse, you're making those relationships right there. You don't have to talk about Beachbody. You just say, hey, someone says, gosh, I don't have the best digestion, or I drink Shakeology. That helps my digestion. You walk away. They're going to think about that. They might come back with questions. So that's all you do. You just find ways to bring it into your everyday life. It's never pushing. It's never selling. Be intentional. You have something that's valuable to offer, right? So lead the conversations with belief. You're going to run open houses. You're going to run sneak peeks. People are going to know that you're looking for people to join you. They're going to see on Facebook. If they scroll through your feed, are they going to see that you're looking for new team members? If they don't, you've never posted about it probably, right? Ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. What is the worst thing they're going to say? No. Well, you don't have any extra coaches. I mean, you're not losing any coaches. You're in the same spot as before you asked, right?
I love that, Bridget. I'm just going to cut you off. Really, truly, if you scroll through your newsfeed, your wall for the last 2 weeks, how often have you mentioned the coaching opportunity?
Yeah. And we are scared. It doesn't feel comfortable.
It's scary.
But I don't have people, messaging me all the time. I'll do it and I hear nothing. And I'm like, oh, well, at least I tried. You can always delete it. If you get zero response, delete it. Try again another time. It could be the time of day. But if you get one person to, send you a message, hey, I would like to learn more, that's all you need. So scroll through your wall. Do you invite to challenge groups? Do they know you're a coach? Do you ask people to join your team? Do they know you're a coach? I had someone just recently refer me, and they've never been in a challenge group of mine. They just know I'm a coach from Facebook. It's not even someone I see, because someone posted on their Facebook wall, hey, I'm looking for a coach. I'm interested in Shakeology. 4 people put my name on there, and most of them were never challengers of mine. I don't even see them, but they know because of Facebook. So think about that. Stay in recruiting mode. It doesn't need to be over the top. Do it in your own way, but just ask. Share your calendar with your team. When is your next coach sneak peek? When is your next open house? Do it together. Teach what you do. I stole Lindsay Madaway's. She broke the coach sneak peek down to 5 steps. Here's what I talk about day 1. Here's what I talk about day 2. I wrote that down and I shot my own videos to match that. Do the same thing, you know. Your team, you can all have your own sneak peeks too eventually if you want. Just simplify it, break it down. Here's the 5 things you should talk about, 1 each day. All right, you guys, we're on the last one. Thanks for being patient here. A lot of stuff. Okay, exceed expectations, step 5. So the attitude here is it's not about the title. It's about your level of service. Okay, Beachbody does a great job. We've got Emerald, we've got Ruby, we've got Diamond. We get tons of prizes. We get recognition. We get shout outs. We get gifts. It's amazing, right? Not a lot of companies do that. Corporate America, I'm like, I worked there 10 years. Maybe they sent me a card, my 10-year anniversary. I don't know. It's fun to get these things. It's fun to get the recognition, right? But challengers, they don't know what Diamond Coach is. They don't know what Ruby, Emerald. They don't know what Success Club, all starter means. What they do know is if you give them a really good experience and you help them through their program and you check in on them every single Monday, say, hey, how are you doing? What do you need help with? Gosh, I've had these cravings. I fall off the bandwagon over the weekends. Okay, let's look at that. Are you a stress eater? Are you eating because you're bored? Maybe you're not getting enough food. Are you eating all your containers? Maybe you're not getting it. Work with them. Give them excellent customer service, you guys. You want them to succeed, right? That's what matters. Titles come when the actions are done. So think about actions first. Do not get hung up on the title. Discipline trumps talent. It doesn't matter if you're a fitness instructor, if you're a master trainer. All of those things are awesome. But what is most important in this business is discipline and that you show up every day, right? You could be a fitness instructor, you could be a master trainer, but if you don't do anything, none of those things are going to matter. If you don't invite people to challenge groups, if you're not posting on social media that, you're sharing what you're doing, it's not going to matter. It doesn't matter what title you have if you're not doing the work to get you there, right? So everybody matters. Now, you are the only you. You are unique. Jess is different than Mandy. Jess knows a bunch of different people, right? Than Ellen knows. They don't know the exact same amount of people. Maybe they have a couple in common, a few in common, but we all know different people. So if there's one thing that you walk away with tonight, I hope that it's, Beachbody has all the tools. It's going to get people success. We don't have to worry about, gosh, I need a workout that's going to get this person amazing results. We don't have to worry about that because Beachbody's got it. But we have to be empowered, you guys. The goal for you is to make everybody you know, more successful. Whether it's joining a challenge group so that you can get them healthy, whether it's joining your team so that they can provide more for their family, whatever it is. You want everyone you know to be more successful. And we have that opportunity, right? And that's how we become significant. And that feels good, to be significant. And that's then how we become successful, right? So if we commit today to say, if I don't help them, nobody else will that make you want to reach out to them? Absolutely. Think of all those people in your circle. If you said, if nobody helps them but me, would that make you want to go up and ask them? Absolutely, right? We get to focus on people in this, and that's the awesome part. So if you build success in others, you will become significant. Make everybody you know a success story, okay? And that's how I want to end. Does anybody have any questions? I know that was really long and we're getting very late. So thank you for letting me get through all of that.
I have one quick question. Do you make your, you'd referenced making your to-do list and your list of people you know for sure you need to contact, your non-negotiables the night before. Do you typically do that before you go to bed, kind of as you wind down, or tell me about that? Because I've been sucking with my to-do list lately.
When I finish up my power hour, kind of my working time, I will write down the things that maybe I didn't get to that I need to, and then I'll kind of add in what I for sure need to do tomorrow. So I'll kind of start working on it there. And then before I go to bed, I just make sure. Because that's like a mental thing where my mind can shut off at night too. Because if I forget, like, oh gosh, I have to email so-and-so tomorrow because I forgot, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll have to do it because it'll bother me and I won't sleep. So if I had already done that during the day and I just double check it at night, boom, yep, done. Then I have it on the list. So when I wake up in the morning, I know exactly what to do. I go right down the list. I was not very good at this in the beginning, you guys, and I wasted a lot of time going, gosh, what should I do? I already checked into my group. Now I just do it. Like Thursdays, team shout outs, check in on, boom, boom, boom. It's kind of like certain days you know what you need to do. Certain days are going to look the same. Certain days you are different because you're going to have your call out to your challenge groups. I want to show you one other thing quick here, guys. I use my whiteboard. It's probably not going to look so good in this lighting and you're kind of not at a good angle here, but I use it every month. And so this is November, and I'll put, just so I can see a big picture, what day my challenge group's going to start, what day I'm going to start my own workout, my own program, when I'm going to do my coach sneak peek, when I'm going to do my free group, and then I'll actually write on the days, advertise for my free group on Facebook, like page, advertise on Instagram. I have laid out which day I'm going to post where. Advertise for Coach Open House. Advertise for free crock pot group. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So then I also have a monthly calendar. And I keep it the same every single month. The first Monday of the month is always my challenge group. The following one after that's always clean eating or free group. Not always clean eating, free. The third one's the coach. I just kind of make it very cyclical so I don't have to always think about what I'm going to do. Then I can just have fun picking themes. Like, what's my November group going to be called? What's my October group going to be called? And then I kind of make it something fun that sounds kind of different. So then there's two things, the monthly calendar and then my daily to-do list. I think you have to unmute yourself,
Yeah.
Kristen. There you go.
I just have a question about challenge groups. Do you have a lot of repeaters in your challenge groups in addition to the new people?
Yeah,
You try
I
to
do.
keep them in your challenge groups?
I do have a good amount of repeaters. It's usually maybe, it's kind of hard to say if it's 50-50. It kind of depends on the month, I guess. But some months it'll be just strictly brand new, and some months it'll be half-half. Some will be 75-25. I do have kind of that rule where you can't keep coming back in if you don't stay on Shakeology, or if you've been, in a couple of times without it, or you're not getting something new. I will kind of be a little bit harder now. I didn't start out like that. So they get 2 rounds, and then after that, if they don't get Shakeology again or they don't get something new, they can't be in it again. So I've kind of I've changed to that maybe in the last 5 or 6 months, and that seems to still work pretty good. I don't have a place for people that are kind of like done, and that's something I've toyed with, just having a place where I can just kind of still motivate and inspire. But I'm constantly checking in with people. I'll write down the names. Like I said, I'll write down on my to-do list, like, okay, tomorrow I haven't talked to so-and-so for a while, so I'm gonna email her tomorrow. And I just constantly check in on people. Hey,
Do you
how's it
ever,
going? Are you still clean eating? Are you still doing workouts? And then that sparks conversation. And sometimes they'll be like, hey, I need to do this again. And then I'll say, hey, are you ready to, try Shakeology or whatever? So I'm always talking to people I go through my list at my back office and I say who I haven't talked to for a while, and I'll kind of keep a log.
do you have a newsletter like that you send out to your customers, past and present, for through email, that you try to keep in contact with them that way, or you're just actually personally messaging through Facebook?
I'm personally messaging, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And
I
then
just,
one other question about Instagram. Do you have any contacts through Instagram, like random people that have found you on Instagram?
Not really. I just started Instagram like in August, I would say. So I'm still kind of playing around with that. I haven't, but I've grown the following. I haven't figured out quite how to bring people over to Facebook, and I think what I probably could be better at is going in. So I'll follow them back, but I need to start commenting and on their page, or hey, find me, or I've gotten a couple myself, like they've inboxed me. I don't know how to send messages yet on there. But yeah, Instagram is something I kind of need to play around with a little bit more, because I think that'd be a good area to tap into.
Okay.
It's a good question. Anybody else? You can ask anytime, after you hang up, if you think of something, just ask in the group under the call, or, message me.
I'll post the recording tomorrow and you guys can, if you have any follow-up questions.
Yeah. But like I said, it's really not, it happens, at different times for people, the mind shift. And you just get to the point where you really want it, or maybe it's not quite there yet. Maybe you're still trying to figure out how it's going to fit into your life. For me, I didn't really know how it was going to fit in. I just wanted it to fit in, and I was going to make it work however it worked for me and my family and wherever I was at. So just kind of know it's never cookie cutter. It's not going to look the same for me as it's going to for you, or anyone else. Jess and I probably have very different approaches, and we probably work at very different hours, and she's got a whole different routine than I, and so we all look very different in what we do day to day. But it's just the showing up and the consistency that keeps us going, right? And some months it's gonna, you don't really feel it, you don't really see it, but if you just keep doing it, it's every single month it shows. Like right now I'm at 0 Success Club points, and it happens every single month now. I'm at 0 till 15, the day 15, day 16. Then I do my call out to my challenge group, because that doesn't start until the beginning of the month, and I usually go from 0 to like 16 in a week, and that's my biggest paycheck all of the time too. So I've learned to stop freaking out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because there's like literally nothing unless someone buys something new, or but I don't do my inviting until that last part of the month. So once you get into the groove, you kind of know that that's how it works. And now I'm just like talking to people that were in my free group. I'll, message them, how did you like the crockpots? Do you think you need help longer term? And, I'll start some conversations there. I'll check in with some old people and see if they're looking for something new, or check in with people that maybe said no. So I just do a lot of messaging. And then I start posting, and I'll post it at different times, different places. If it doesn't get a big response, I'll delete and I'll try again. That's the other thing. If something doesn't work, it's okay to delete and start over. Just keep doing it again. Different time, different graphic. Change up your pictures. Change up what your wording was. It's an emotional thing for people to commit and invest money and talk about their health and their struggles. So sometimes you just got to hit them at the right time. And that could be at 8 in the morning. It could be at 9 at night. It could be at noon. So you just got to try different times, because you never know. You think, gosh, nobody wants to, but it might be the time of day, right? You want to unmute yourself, Katie?
Does anybody else have, I don't know that there's an answer to this question, but for my free groups, I guess I've only really offered a couple, but I feel like I'm getting, actually one is a mutual friend that's a coach under Meg's, joined my free ab challenge. And then another one was a previous challenger of mine who's still drinking Shakeology. And then it was my mom, I think, just to be nice. And then one other woman, and it's actually the woman that I think reached out to you that wanted a personal, that I gave her name, your name to her.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know if they're like on to me. They know that, you know, if you join a free challenge, nothing's ever free. I mean, it's free, but you know what I mean? Everyone knows that there's a catch at the end. And I don't know if I'm just not, maybe I just haven't done it enough to say it's not working, but I feel like I'm not getting a lot of people hopping on board with the free, and maybe it is just a matter of like I know that the crock pot ones are really, some other people that have done that, that's really been a big one. So maybe it's just getting some traction by what I'm offering. I don't know.
No, I think we all feel that way. I think the free things are real tricky because most people don't right away jump into something. I would say for me personally, it's maybe 3 or 4 months later. And
that's
then
what I was going to say too. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to say like the people that have come back, 99%, it's not been right away. It's been like 3 or 4 months where I'm almost shocked. I'm like, really? Like, that's awesome. But I kind of forgot, you know, like we're in that group. So I think long-term wise, absolutely, it makes sense. Just keep doing them. And just remember that excellent customer service that we talked about. Like, just knock their socks off, give them free workouts, give them the free recipes, and just say, like, I'm super passionate. I just want to help people, but I'm here if you need me. You know, and the people that need help longer term are going to come back to you. Or maybe you can just check in with them after the group, you know, keep a log of who was in there and just say, hey, how's it going? And just see where conversation goes. Because I think if you have in your mind that they feel like there's a catch, you know, well, there shouldn't be. It should just honestly be like, leave here with free recipes and some workout ideas. And hey, I'm here if you ever need me in your health journey. That's it, you know. Then maybe it just doesn't feel as weird to you because maybe in your mind you think that they should have to get something, you know?
Yeah.
I agree with you, Bridget. I have definitely, I think I've signed, I'm trying to think. I think there's at least 3 coaches probably on our team that my initial point of contact was a free group, but they did not sign up the next week. You know, like I always end my free group thanking them for being part of it. And then I'll go in a little bit later and be like, hey, if you still need support, this is what I've got coming up. And then obviously they know that that's not free. And I hardly ever have anybody who bites, hardly ever on that next opportunity. But like Bridget said, they're still around. They'll come back. So I just think being consistent with offering those free groups, just because you're building relationships and showing people that you're a resource for information and for helping, and switching up maybe what it is that you do. You know, like last month I did a no sugar challenge. I thought Halloween, it's going to be awesome. Meh. You know, but that doesn't mean that one person from that group isn't going to be my next coach. I just don't know it yet. But the group was very quiet and I thought was very slow and wasn't amazing. But so I tried something different, you know, and the thing is with free challenges, don't make them more than like a week, you know, and you're going to have those serial people who keep coming back and coming back and coming back for something free, but typically eventually they'll come around. So that's just my input. I agree with you, Bridget, and just vary up what you're offering, but just don't put a huge amount of time or effort. Don't put weeks and weeks into it, you know?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll eventually get people that you don't know in there. So it's just a nice place for them to be like, okay, this is a real person. And wow, she kind of knows what she's doing because she's offering these awesome recipes and I'm learning a lot. you'll get people you don't know eventually, and then it's nice because then they're going to see, you know, who you are and you're a real person and you're offering something valuable, and they're going to kind of, and some of those people will come back. Yep. So it's kind of nice to give them a little dose, you know, because I always do a video at the last day. So then they can kind of, you know, see you and hear you, and that helps. But yeah, keep doing them. They start out kind of small when you're just starting out, and then eventually, yeah, they'll see a friend join, and then they'll want to join, and you'll start to have people you don't know in there. Or Meg did one, bring a friend. You have to bring a friend to come in. Kind of a good idea. Anyone else have anything before we shut her off?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So I boosted a post on my like page about my next challenge group, and I actually got, well, for me, quite a few. I'm still pretty new at this, but like I got like 15, 20 likes or something, and probably like 8 of them are from people I don't know. I kind of did a little perusing. A couple of them are Beachbody coaches, but when you have someone that likes that stuff that you don't know, do you typically like send them a message and just say like, hey, thanks for liking this, you know, like how do you approach that?
I am not good at doing that on my like page. I have done that where I get messages from people saying that, and I think that that's cool to have that little touch base, but I'm not good at just going in and messaging the people, because I worry that it's going to go to their other folder and they're not going to see it. So you'd almost have to go ask them to be friends with you. Like if they liked your post or they liked your page, you'd then have to go ask them to be friends with you on your personal page so that you could message directly. Jess, do you go in and send them messages?
I typically will scroll through the people who liked it. And then the people who I don't know, I will then stalk their page and make sure they're not a total freak. Bridget and I were talking about this today. No, Ellen and I were talking about this today. I'm like, I knew I was talking about somebody. Yes, like if they're like totally weird and creep me out, I'm not going to friend request them. Like, sorry. But then I will, if they seem pretty legit, then I'll friend request them. And then once they accept it, then I'll send them a message. And I would say it is very, very much like the free challenge group in the fact that anybody I have met through my like page, it has taken a long time to form that relationship. And I'm patient with it because that's okay. But I don't typically message them straight from my like page because a lot of times it just falls into their other folder. You know, not straight. You can't message from your like page. So you have to message them as yourself.
Yeah. And
I usually will friend request them, but only if they don't seem creepy. I don't ever friend request men. I just don't. I've got little girls. I'm just not comfortable with it, you know? Like if some random dude likes my stuff, just not down with it, you know? So I just scope them out and send them a request. And then if they still seem sketchy, then I unfriend them. I don't know if anybody's done that in here, if it's just me, but otherwise I have met some really cool people though through my ads or through, you know, a sponsored post. I met Ellen through a sponsored post. I met Kristen through a sponsored post. So I think you just kind of got to put your feelers out there and trust your gut, but I definitely would not be nervous about messaging people or friend requesting them. It may take a few follow-ups though, because they don't know you. Think if the situation was reversed and some random stranger was like, hey, thanks for liking my post. So glad we could connect over our love of sweet potato chili, you know, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be like, okay. You know, you're going to want to like feel them out for a while, you know, like you stalk them to make sure they're not a creeper. They're doing the same thing to you. So just give it time. And a lot of times I've definitely had success with selling challenge packs and signing coaches through my like page, but it's just been, I've had to have patience with most of it. So I'm rambling now. I'm tired. But does that help, Carla?
All right, if you guys think of anything else, just post in the
Yeah, it's getting late. So
A lot of info.
it was awesome, Bridget. Such a great call. Thank you so, so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Welcome. Anytime.
And ladies, this is a big, big week because it's the last week that people can jump in to get signed up for something to happen, a challenge to happen and be done by Christmas. So definitely be sharing this week. And I'm just so grateful that you all joined on the call. So I'll let you go because I'm about to fall asleep with my eyes open. But thank you guys so much and have a good night. Thank you, Bridget.
You're welcome.